Museums are a window into the past. They showcase fundamental cultural history and preserve artifacts and heirlooms. Crystal Quao headed to Belcourt to bring us inside the Turtle Mountain Chippewa Heritage Center.
Yeah, these are advanced.
Sarah Dufresne is visiting the Heritage Center with her daughter for the first time. She says when she was little, her parents brought her and her siblings to the center when it was located in another building.
And our heritage are very important in our family, so my parents are always bringing us to cultural events.
The center hosts workshops for drum, basket, and ribbon skirt making. Kathy Zast, director of the center, says parents and grandparents who have the background can pass the knowledge on to the next generation.
The finished product too, seeing what they've come up with, their designs and everything is just beautiful.
They've displayed bags, moccasins, belts, and dresses made from beadwork with higher level patterns.
Come up.
Zast says students taking the beadwork course from the local college have come to the Heritage Center for research. Dufresne doesn't consider herself an expert in the craft. She says the displays have changed.
It's a little different here from what I remember.
They primarily feature art that is Chippewa or Michif. Zast says the colors and the beading have tribal distinctions.
Well, you can tell from the Ojibwa tribes and the Lakota tribe.
While they're working with present-day artists and storytellers, they also remember the past. At one of the annual powwows, they offered a teepee project to be covered with community members' handprints.
It represented Every Child Matters, the children that have been taken from us, and then that now we're finding and wanting to bring them home.
They're also taking part in the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act of 1990. In the Turtle Mountains, I'm Crystal Quao reporting for your news leader.
Now, the center will be showcasing local artists in honor of Native American Month from November 16th to the 18th. We'll have information including hours of operation on our website.